ladies, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Aisha. I'm a certified trauma-informed coach, and I am on a mission to help 1 million women become their most confident and successful selves with the use of law of assumption. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on powerful tips, inspiring stories, and essential guidance so that you can manifest the life of your dreams. Let's get into today's video. I am talking about healing the physical body, healing the emotional body, and pain in general and how to navigate it. Of course, a lot of experiences are painful in different ways. You may be going through physical health struggles, or you may have just gotten injured in some way if you're watching this, or you could just be dealing with emotional pain of sorts, grief, stress, discomfort, sadness. Maybe you just went through a breakup or you lost a loved one. Whatever it is that is causing your pain, this video is giving you the guidance to navigate that pain. Now, this morning I was kind of in a hurry making my husband breakfast, and I actually scalded my fingertips a little bit. I don't know if you can really see it, but the skin on my fingertips has actually like melded together. So like where there would be like deep grooves in my fingerprints, it's actually kind of smooth from the heat, and it bugged me for a little bit. I continued to make breakfast. I'm sure the adrenaline was pumping. I said my goodbyes to my husband. I finished my breakfast, and eventually, once my body got to a state of calm, the pain started to show up again. It started to demand to be noticed. I felt like a throbbing, stinging feeling. Touching cold surfaces offered me a sense of relief, but it was only temporary. I was lifting my arm up, getting the circulation to go differently, shaking my hand out to try different methods of moving that pain around. But it wasn't until I actually sat there, I looked at my hand, I said, this is pain. This feeling in my fingertips, this signal that my body is sending, this sensation is pain. And once I acknowledged it, the pain actually started to dissipate. It started to fade away. And it made me realize that this is very much the same as when we're going through emotional pain. Emotional pain demands to be seen. It is demanding to be acknowledged. And a lot of times we have learned to suppress that pain, to ignore it, to shut it down because we have other priorities to take care of. We have jobs and families and responsibilities on our plate that prevent us from actually dealing and facing the pain directly in that moment. And so it tends to grow stronger, or it tends to spread. And knowing this principle about emotional pain, I decided to try it out with the physical pain. Now, of course, my fingertips are still tender right now. I'm not expecting them to heal instantly. If they did, that would be wonderful. And there have been times that I've burned myself in the kitchen where it pretty much did go away almost instantaneously. So I'm not unfamiliar with navigating this type of feeling. But I realized that by trying to ignore it or trying to suppress it, I wasn't actually working with that energy. So instead, what I did is I looked at my hand and I said, okay, this signal of pain in my fingertips is telling me that my body has been injured. And the reason it's telling me that my body has been injured is so that I'm extra careful with this part of my body. I will be extra careful around heat sources the rest of my day. And I will likely be aware of it tomorrow as well. And not only that, I will remind myself to drink water and eat nutritious foods and get proper sleep tonight so that my body can do its job to heal. I trust that my body is already automatically doing this. We've all gotten paper cuts that it's a pain when we have it, and maybe you use hand sanitizer or you get lemon juice in it and you're like, oh my goodness, that is so uncomfortable. But then after a couple days, you don't even remember that you got a paper cut anymore because your body has done the work of healing it for you. Obviously, healing from a paper cut is much different than healing from a major surgery, or if you had a limb amputated, or if you have a chronic condition. But the principle remains the same. Pain demands to be felt. The purpose of pain is to communicate signals so that your body is aware that this part of you is fragile right now, that this part of you needs attention, that this part of you needs healing energy. And in the same way, you may have a bruise that you don't notice, but once you touch the bruise, it feels really tender and uncomfortable. That signal is just communicating to your brain to send your white blood cells and, however the deeper science happens. I'm not a biologist by any means. I don't study the human body to that extent, but I understand that our immune system gets triggered by that pain and it goes, oh, this part hurts. We need to send the proper forces, the antibodies if you're experiencing an infection or some type of illness, or as I mentioned, like the white blood cells to heal that part of the body that is aching or has been severed in some way or has been bruised and is injured. Our body is doing its job. So by acknowledging the pain and understanding it's serving a very basic purpose, and it's not wrong. It's not improper or incorrect that pain is happening. We can begin to accept it. We can begin to face it and look at it as just a signal. It's neutral. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to be this fighting resistance against the pain. It can be a simple, neutral acknowledgement. Once we acknowledge the pain, then we can thank it. I said thank you to the pain in my fingers because I knew that signal is for my benefit. That discomfort is for my body's awareness to heal itself. And that is a positive thing. That is a beautiful thing. We want that. We don't get to choose how the human body functions, but we get to choose how we feel about it. Now, if it is emotional pain that you're struggling with, the same process is, applicable here. You want to look at the pain. You want to see it and recognize it for what it is. It's pain. It's grief. It's sorrow, heartbreak, resentment. It's painful. It hurts. It's uncomfortable. It's not your natural, normal state of being. It is a signal that's telling you there's a part of you that needs attention. That part of you may be a result of a specific circumstance that triggered it. It could also just be this underlying feeling of dissatisfaction and uncomfortability that is coming from some unidentifiable source or multiple sources that you just have yet to identify. So we want to acknowledge it, say, I see you. I know that you're communicating this because I need to pay attention to this. You need my focused attention for a little bit. And if you're watching this far into the video, you may be kind of confused because a lot of times in manifestation, we teach you don't focus on the bad. In this example, we're only focusing on the bad long enough to understand it. Once you understand it, you thank it and you move on. So again, you look at the emotional pain. If you are able to identify the trigger, you become aware of why that trigger played its part in causing that pain. And you want to sit with it. You want to sit with the pain and know that this is here for my benefit. This is here to teach me something. Obviously, when I burned my fingers this morning, it was a reminder to slow down. It was a reminder to be present with my thoughts and actions, even if I feel like I should be in a hurry to accomplish a task. And now I can take that lesson in the future to be more careful around the air fryer. Now, when it comes to emotional pain, you want to have that same type of response and relationship to those emotional pain signals. You want to look at them and say, you're serving a purpose, you're helping me to become better, you're teaching me something about myself, and I ought to be thankful for that. I am thankful for every time I have been angry because it taught me where my boundaries were. It taught me what was okay and comfortable to experience, and it taught me what felt unjust. I'm thankful to every time that I've experienced grief because I forget who quoted this or who spoke this quote, but grief is love with nowhere to go. And every time that I have lost a loved one in their physical presence, whether that is due to them passing away or due to them no longer being in my life for some reason. That grief taught me that I really did love and care about that person. And that's a beautiful reminder. Whether it was sadness because as a little kid I didn't get the toy that I wanted from the store, or as an adult when I experienced, pain after hurting a loved one by being reckless or careless with my words, that type of sadness taught me that the good things in life should be valued while they're here and protected as long and as much as we can. So every single one of your negative emotions are teaching you a lesson. Every single one of your triggers is showing you something about yourself, either that needs to be healed, integrated, or accepted in some way. So whether it is pain in the physical body that is simply your body's communication pathway reminding itself that it needs to invest in itself, it needs to nourish itself, replenish itself, and fix whatever has been broken or disconnected within itself, that's a good thing. And if it's emotional pain, grief, sadness, struggle, anger, it is there to help you develop and grow into a better version of yourself. And in either instance, the more we can accept and acknowledge the existence of pain, the easier it is to soothe ourselves beyond that moment of awareness and shift our focus into something better. Because when we fight the pain, when we fight the emotions, when we fight our body's natural response to being injured or ill, the more we're actually perpetuating that. We're creating resistance. Resistance is pushback. And so the more we push back against pain, the stronger pain has to get to be acknowledged, to be fixed, to be addressed. Pain's one job is to be heard. And if we are not hearing it by choice or by force or by negligence, it's only going to grow. In the years before I healed my self-concept, I struggled with depression, and every single year that depression got louder and louder and the pain grew stronger and stronger until I acknowledged where it was coming from and what was happening and was able to move through that energy instead of resisting it. So I know both from obviously a physical perspective of being injured or ill and healing, and I know very deeply from an emotional perspective what it takes to navigate that type of pain and grief and anger. I intend that this video was everything you needed to hear today, and whether you are in pain on a physical level or an emotional level, my heart goes out to you, and I am setting the intention that you will heal and grow and feel better soon. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.